Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining today's webinar from Everyday Copilots to Game-Changing Copilots. As we know, AI is transforming and reshaping how we work. 75% of the global knowledge workers are already using AI at work, according to a Work Trends Index report, with nearly half of these individuals adopting AI in just past 6 months. Users of Copilot are saving 30 minutes each day, which equates to 10 hours per month of time saved that can be redirected towards strategic initiatives. A McKinsey study reveals that 65% of the organizations plan to derive significant value from GenAI by 2024. And the financial returns, a recent IDC study shows a staggering $3.5 return for every dollar invested into AI. As we can see, investing in generative AI is not merely an upgrade, it's a strategic decision that promises substantial competitive advantages, financial gains, and a happier, more efficient workforce. Hello, everybody. My name is Sulabh Jain, and I'll be your host today. In my role here at Antares, Apps and AI, I work with customers on a daily basis to solve industry problems on the Microsoft platform. I'm excited to introduce Dr. Emma Burns from Microsoft, who will be co-presenting with me today and will be here to answer any questions you have. Emma is incredibly passionate about using science and technology to create great public outcomes. Emma has a diverse career background that includes conservation genetics, environmental consulting, and research. Emma works as a data and AI specialist at Microsoft. And since joining Microsoft in 2021, she's been empowering customers across government education to achieve more. So before we get into it, I'd like to do a quick poll to get a good idea about where everyone is in their AI journey. You should have a poll come up on your screen shortly with 2 quick questions, and if you could take 30 seconds to participate, that would be great. The questions are, what are you looking to leverage AI for in your organization? And is your organization planning to use or currently using M365 Copilot, Azure AI, or both? The poll will remain open for the remainder of the webinar, so you have plenty of time to complete it as we move along the presentation today. But please do take time to complete that. Okay, so here is the agenda for today's session. I'll be handing over shortly to Emma to give us an overview of Microsoft's AI and sustainability commitments. We will then discuss Microsoft's AI paths before going into the top use cases for Copilot for M365. We will then turn our attention to Azure AI solutions, where I'll walk you through a few demos to give you an idea on what we can do with the technology we have available today. We'll then discuss how we can get started, suggest next steps, and have a live Q&A session. Emma, not sure if you're having any technology issues. If you're there, are you okay to talk through the next part of the presentation? She's trying. Just give us a minute. Emma's just having some technology issues. She'll be here shortly. There you are, Emma.
Hello.
Emma, just handing over to you. Sorry, I didn't intro etc. Whilst you're probably trying to sort out the technology. And I know you're under the weather today, but just thank you for joining firstly the session today and co-presenting with us. But just wanted to hand it over to you for the next few minutes just to talk about Microsoft's AI commitments and the sustainability commitments as well, if that's all right.
Yeah, thanks, Sulabh. Pleasure to be here. Sorry about the technology challenges. Essentially, when you're building out an AI solution with Microsoft, one of the things that people don't always appreciate at the outset is the difference between deploying something within your Azure tenancy versus, for example, using open AI over the internet. So it's just fundamentally important to understand that your data is your data once you're building inside your Azure tenancy. One other assurance that we give is the customer copyright commitment, because there have been some concerns over the foundational training of the large language models. So Microsoft gives a commitment there. And I can put some links into the chat as we go for those that are interested to learn more about these. On the next slide, I talk a little bit more about responsible AI, and within our tool set, there's a number of embedded guardrails that help you navigate or align to our 6 responsible AI frameworks, and I'll put some information in there as well. But essentially, we try to approach each use case and provide the conceptual framings within, for example, Azure AI Studio around fairness, privacy and security, transparency, reliability and safety, inclusiveness and accountability. There's a lot that you can learn about these online, but I find the best way to understand how they're applied in reality is to just start using the tools, and then you'll see how it becomes practical. So I encourage people to just, the best way to start is to just start and not stay in the theoretical for too long. In terms of sustainability, Microsoft's had a very strong commitment to sustainability since around 2019, but particularly in 2020 when we made our ambitious commitments under water, waste, carbon and ecosystems. The advent of generative AI puts a lot of pressure on natural resources, particularly around water and energy. And so it's been an area under our climate investment fund, which is $1 billion fund, where we've invested a lot of R&D to try and really minimize the use of water and electricity in our data centers. And there's firm commitments around them being energy neutral by 2025 and to reduce the impact on water. So I just encourage you, as you become a consumer of AI, to be mindful of the environmental implications of the use of the technology, and try to choose providers of the technology that put sustainability front of mind. And I will add some more information in to the chat for people if you're interested in any of those topics. But back to you, Sulabh.
Thank you, Emma. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you for making yourself available in spite of being under the weather. As Emma said, we'll start to talk about more practical stuff today. So what I'll do is we'll start to explore the Microsoft AI pathways, and then we'll start to talk about some practical use cases, etc. So it's important to know that Microsoft has multiple offerings with the Copilot branding, and it's good to get that high-level view before we delve into the specifics. Very simply, Copilot is a new category of applications that uses AI, may have multi-turn conversational agents like interfaces, and it helps users do cognitive tasks. Microsoft has built Copilot in its product ecosystem across pretty much all of the products you use in everyday life, whether it be Copilot in Windows or Copilot in Bing Edge, or whether we're talking about enterprise products like the M365. All of these are out-of-the-box Copilots available for you to adopt today. Now, being a platform company, Microsoft have also built ways for developers to build their own Copilot chat experiences with two great toolkits, Azure AI Studio and the Microsoft Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is your low-code, no-code application, low-code, no-code way of building custom copilots, whereas your Azure AI Studio provides you full flexibility and control for developers to develop their own AI solutions. So for the remainder of the session, we will explore two key pathways. We will explore the everyday AI Copilot for M365 aimed at improving productivity, and we will explore developing your own copilots and AI solutions suitable for your own organization needs, leveraging your intellectual property specific to your own requirements. Now, it's important to note that we at Antares here are helping customers with both pathways, whether the customers are looking to improve everyday productivity with M365 Copilot or building bespoke AI solutions. So let's talk about Copilot for Microsoft 365 that became generally available to enterprise customers in November 2023 last year. In a nutshell, it's your AI assistant at work. It introduces a new way of working. It has four key components. It has the foundational capabilities of the large language models. It is grounded in the latest web data real time, so it has the most up-to-date knowledge of the internet. And it has access to your data in Microsoft Graph, which is the gateway to all data sets across Microsoft 365 apps, such as your emails, chats, documents you have access to, your calendar details, as well as things like compliance, security, identity, and your privacy policies that have been set up in your own environment. So all of these capabilities together can be accessed through a natural language across your Microsoft 365 apps, such as Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, etc., etc. So I'm now going to share the top use cases we are hearing from customers we're working with in various different stages of their journey. One of the top use cases, without a doubt, with M365 Copilot is the meeting summaries and recaps. This is where Copilot for M365 automatically generates concise summaries of your meetings, capturing key points, decisions, and action items. This ensures that nothing is missed, even if you don't attend a meeting, and it saves time by reducing the need for manual note-taking. But what I really like about this feature is how detailed it can get. If I've missed a meeting, I can simply ask Copilot when a specific topic was discussed, who said what, and even what the sentiment around that particular topic was. It's incredibly useful for getting a clear understanding of discussions without having to sift through long meeting recordings and notes. The other use case, and one of its biggest strengths, is its ability to locate documents, emails, and files across the entire M365 environment without needing to know or remember where that information is stored. It provides relevant results grounded in your organization's specific M365 data, ensuring you get exactly what matters when you need it. What I also find really valuable is that Copilot uses natural language processing to find information that keyword-based search results might miss or may not prioritize as highly relevant. This is especially useful when I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for. But overall, it saves me time, boosts efficiency, and ensures you get the right information exactly when you need it. The third use case that customers are finding quite useful is the ability to condense long email threads into key points and making it easier to grasp the essential information quickly. It also helps in drafting responses by providing contextual information, reducing the effort involved in managing and replying to emails. Now, you're not going to use Copilot to draft every single email, but it is especially useful when you need to send sensitive emails and it's not your strongest area. Copilot can guide and coach you, ensuring your communication is both appropriate and professional. Overall, Copilot in Outlook saves time, enhances consistency, and boosts productivity by streamlining your email management. Last but not the least, Copilot can quickly create summaries of complex documents, allowing you to review key points without wading through lengthy text. It assists in drafting new documents by leveraging existing content, which enhances writing productivity with AI-generated suggestions. So when you're working on something new, and it's often a struggle to start the document, to get the first draft, Copilot in Word proves very handy. This is where it helps kickstart the writing process, making it easier to get your ideas on paper. Additionally, Copilot ensures that your documents are clear, concise, and aligned with the organizational standards, streamlining the writing process whilst maintaining high-quality output. The Copilot in PowerPoint is not too behind. It is also getting more and more use cases, and customers are finding it very useful for them to be able to use the Copilot in PowerPoint to create a draft structure of the presentation and so on and so forth. So these are the top use cases with Copilot for Microsoft 365 today, as we're hearing from our customers and working on a range of different projects. There is a lot more to M365 Copilot than what I've just summarized, but these are the top use cases, like I said. There are lots of new features coming, so please do watch this space, as there's a huge roadmap of features coming in the next 3 to 6 months. So please do watch this space. By default, M365 Copilot only has access to the data in your M365 environment. However, we know most organizations have other key information systems that obviously rely on a day-to-day basis that sit outside of this Microsoft ecosystem. This is where extensibility capability of the platform comes in, as it allows us to add skills and knowledge to Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now, there are two ways you could do that. Option one is where you can add plugins and graph connectors already built by other vendors. So for example, there is already a plugin available for Jira, Confluence, and there is already a connector available for ServiceNow. So that ecosystem is quite large, and you are able to tap into a lot of the popular vendors, a lot of the popular products, and the plugins they've already built into the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. The other option you have is where you want to integrate your own systems and tools where there is no out-of-the-box integration available. And you can achieve that through OpenAI plugins, through Power Platform, or integrating directly with APIs. So to illustrate this capability, I'm going to show you a quick demo now, which will show you how Air India have extended Copilot for Microsoft 365 with their internal systems to provide real-time information on flights and their statuses to executives so they can make informed business decisions. So this is the familiar Microsoft 365 Copilot chat in Teams. Air India have built a plugin that allows them to retrieve data about flight departure times in real time for any specified location in natural language without having to go through a particular system or having to retrieve details through various different people. Because it's using natural language, you can ask any questions of the data. They can format the data the way they want. They have custom actions built in, in their own workflow, like the ability to chat with the airport manager and so on. Going further, they can get more specific data points. Like in this case, we can get information on the common reasons for delays when flights are delayed by more than 10 minutes. And so this is just a small example of how you can extend M365 Copilots to integrate with your own systems. Now, as we know, Microsoft 365 Copilot is new, and it defines a new way of working. So Microsoft is conducting regular studies to understand its users and adoption patterns, etc. This is the result of a study that Microsoft conducted using a combination of surveys and experiments to deeply understand how Copilot is being used by people and its benefits. And the feedback and the data collected from the Copilot's earliest users underscore that for many, the platform shift to AI is already underway, ushering in a new wave of productivity growth and value creation. Early users don't want to go to work without it, with 77% of the people saying they don't want to give it up. 68% of the people said Copilot improved the quality of their work, and 70% said it made them more productive. Okay, hopefully that gives you a high-level overview of Microsoft 365 Copilot available, and what are some of the top use cases, and how you can even extend it for your own specific use cases, etc. We're now going to change topics and talk about building more advanced game-changing solutions with Azure AI. The Azure AI services are designed to make it easy for developers and organizations to add AI capabilities to their applications without the need for extensive expertise in AI. Microsoft's Azure AI services allow developers to quickly build, deploy, and scale AI-enabled applications, and to take advantage of the scalability, security, and compliance capabilities within Azure. Now, everyday Azure AI solution starts with your own Azure subscription. This is where you have control over the resources and services that you're deploying. Your subscription not only acts as the foundation, but also provides the governance and the security you need to operate at scale. Within Azure, and unlike with Microsoft 365 Copilot, settings and system prompts are highly customizable. These allow you to configure your models and AI solutions based on your own unique requirements, ensuring that the AI system behaves according to the standards and the rules you set. When you're building a solution, you can decide where it's deployed and how it integrates into your existing business applications. Whether it's automating workflows, improving customer engagement, or providing intelligent insights, Azure AI can be seamlessly embedded into your core business applications, delivering value right where it's needed. The other thing is that the Azure AI is designed to tackle specific use cases, from language translation and speech recognition to predictive analytics and image recognition. You can deploy AI models that address your unique business challenges, and the platform is flexible enough to accommodate a wide variety of use cases across different industries. One of the key strengths of Azure AI is its design flexibility. You can build and modify solutions to suit your needs. Whether you want to use pre-trained models or train your own, you are in full control of the conversational experience and how you want to guide the user. Again, this is totally different to using an out-of-the-box AI application like an M365 Copilot. And one of the most important aspects of building AI applications is ensuring that they are designed and deployed responsibly. Azure provides a range of tools and services that I'm not going to go into today, but they help organizations align with the ethical AI practices. By leveraging these tools, you can ensure that the AI applications you build on not only deliver results, but they do so in a way that aligns with your ethical standards. And the Azure Responsible AI Framework is an essential part of creating AI that is trustworthy, transparent, and secure. Now, let's dive into the exciting part. I'll show you some demos that I've recorded that illustrate practical ways to use Azure AI to enhance your daily work. In these demos, I'll be interacting with QBot, which is our question bot platform used by many organizations in Australia. It is built on the Microsoft Copilot stack, which powers all of the Copilots, whether they are all of the Copilots, including the out-of-the-box Copilots. And it's built on semantic kernel framework, which combines the language models with structured data and unstructured data to create advanced context-aware systems. So think of QBot as a tailored ChatGPT for your own organization, operating securely and within your own Azure environment. It's your private controlled AI assistant with no data sent to Microsoft or the LLM providers. Now, during the demos, I'll cover 3 examples, but these are just a glimpse. Azure AI can address a wide range of problems and use cases beyond what we will cover specifically today. Now, I want to set the stage for what you're about to see. Imagine a typical day in a healthcare setting where accurate and timely documentation is crucial. Medical professionals are often pressed for time, yet they need to capture every detail of patient interactions and diagnosis to ensure proper care. What if we could leverage AI to assist in this process, converting spoken words into precise, structured documentation that not only captures the details, but also understands complex medical terminology? In this demo, we'll showcase how AI can just do that. You'll hear a medical professional briefing their colleagues about a patient's condition. The AI we're demonstrating today not only converts the speech into text, but also understands and processes the medical terms involved. It then formats the information in a structured clinical case report ready for review and integration into the patient notes. As you watch, please pay attention to how seamlessly the AI handles the task, accurately capturing the conversation, understanding the medical context, and presenting it in a format that's both practical and ready for use in real-world scenarios.
All right, this is Bob. He's a 53-year-old man with a history of type 2 diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and smoking. He was admitted 24 hours ago for an acute onset of chest pain and mild shortness of breath. Overnight, his pain improved. Now it's a 2 out of 10 with no radiation. Also, the shortness of breath and nausea has resolved. His temperature is 97.8, heart rate 92, respiratory rate 22, blood pressure is 105/70, and his O2 sat is 92% on room air. He is not in acute distress. His lungs are clear to auscultation bilaterally, and he has a normal S1 and S2 with no murmurs or extra sounds. An ECG revealed a slight ST depression on the anterolateral leads, and his serial troponins are normal. These findings are suggestive of myocardial ischemia, and I suggest what we do is continue oxygen on nasal cannula at 2 liters per minute. Also administer Lovenox, statin, aspirin, and nitroglycerin. We should conduct a stress test, and if that ends up being positive, we should consult cardiology. And I believe we should also discuss smoking cessation with the patient. Okay. All right, this is Bob.
So here is a summary of what we just saw. We saw that we were able to, actually, you know what? I just realized I actually didn't play the last part, which is the most important part. Let me go back to that in a sec.
All right. All right, this is Bob. He's a 53-year-old.
Struggling to move this forward. Give me 1 second. All right. So what you're seeing now on the screen is that we've just, the health practitioner has just finished speaking, and QBot has been trained on a specific format in which to basically provide the information. And obviously there's a whole heap of other things that I'm not explaining here. But what you're seeing on the screen is an output of that particular conversation that just took place. And I'll summarize what you're just seeing in your screen in the next slide. So what we just saw was an ability for the system to transcribe the conversation precisely, capturing all of the medical professionals' briefing notes. The system demonstrated its ability to comprehend and process medical terms like myocardial ischemia, ST depression, and troponins. And the system organized the transcript in a coherent and structured format, resembling a clinical case report that can be reviewed by medical professionals. The generated report can be easily integrated into patient notes, ensuring that crucial information is documented accurately and swiftly. And overall, it's a powerful tool supporting medical professionals in case documentation, reducing manual errors, and improving the overall workflow. Now, there are so many different examples and use cases where this can be applied in different settings and different industries. Think about a retail or a store manager that works through the store while dictating stock levels and sales performance and customer feedback. Think about a factory supervisor inspecting machinery and dictating maintenance issues and production statuses. Or an HR manager who's conducting interviews and shortlisting the right candidates. Or maybe a case manager visiting clients, conducting outreach and documenting their findings and next steps. Now, I'd like you to think about your own work. How could you use voice-to-text technology to streamline your tasks? Whether it's automating documentation, reporting, or capturing insights. Consider whether this could make a real impact in your day-to-day activities. Okay, now let's move on to the next demo. Think about some of the most time-consuming tasks that you face in your daily operations. For our organization, like many others, we have lots of questions we want to know answers to in real time, and it can be time-consuming to get that information from the systems. The other problem we encounter often is with reporting. The system has built-in reports, and it's very hard and time-consuming to build new reports. And even when we do actually go through the painful process of building custom reports, we are only able to serve one request at a time, and a lot of the stakeholders have to wait. We want to enable everyone, and we want everyone to know and understand their data. So what we've done internally is that we've integrated QBot with our own ERP system. And here is a quick snapshot of what we've done with this particular use case. We built an assistant in QBot that integrates with our own ERP, and that assistant has 3 plugins. So at any point in time, I can get real-time, up-to-date information on sales with the data coming in from sales opportunities. Being a professional services organization, timesheets are very important for us, so I can get information on staff's timesheet anytime. And I can get information on any project whenever I need it. So here you will see, so what you're about to see now is a demonstration of QBot working with our own ERP system. As you'll see, I'm able to get information about sales opportunities with a company called Contoso. The system recognizes that I'm looking for sales information and automatically retrieves data from the opportunities plugin. It pulls up 2 opportunities associated with Contoso: crop monitoring and disease detection and precision farming. And from there, I can instantly view key details like the primary sales representative, the value of each opportunity, and other relevant information. But what's even more powerful is that I can query any of these opportunities for additional data, allowing me to dive deeper and get all the specifics I need quickly and effortlessly. I also, So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to talk about the other use case now as well. And in this example, I'm asking for details about the project, website forms, and workflow. The system provides a brief summary, and I'm able to ask more questions, including who worked on the project, how much time was spent, and other key details. In all of these cases, the system is smart enough to understand my intention and automatically selects the right plugin to retrieve the necessary information. And this is a prime example of how you can build intelligent systems with the use of AI, delivering relevant insights effortlessly in real time and in natural language. Now, if you could take a moment and think about this. How would having a real-time data instantly available at your fingertips change the way you work? Imagine being able to access key information whenever you need it, without waiting or digging through different systems. How would that impact your decision? How would that impact your decision-making abilities, your productivity, or even your ability to serve clients more effectively? Okay, I'm going to now move to the last demo. In today's fast-paced work environment, efficiently managing and evaluating large volumes of information is a key challenge. This is especially true in areas like recruitment, where finding the right candidate from hundreds of resumes can be a daunting task. So to illustrate how AI can address such challenges, we'll look at a demo of a recruiter assistant. This system shows how AI can automate the resume screening process, shortlist candidates based on job descriptions, and provide detailed insights and ratings. So what you're seeing now is a recruiter uploading multiple resumes onto the system. The system already has the job description on hand, so it's able to instantly compare each resume against the required skills and qualifications. And as you can see, without delay, it has identified top 3 candidates who match the job description most closely. But it doesn't stop there. What's impressive is that the system explains why these candidates stand out. And it breaks it down. It breaks it down at how each one of them align with the key qualification, experience, and the skill set needed for the role. Not only that, the system can dive deeper. It provides detailed insights into how each candidate matches up against job requirements and even gives a rating for each candidate. Now imagine how much time this saves a recruiter whilst also making the selection process smarter and more efficient. Now, in this particular case, for demonstration purposes, I've used a chatbot, but you don't need to have a chatbot. You don't need to have that interface. We could build a simple interface where you could actually drag and drop resumes, and the AI system can actually shortlist the candidates for you. And then obviously you can even go and integrate with your own systems and take the next steps forward with the interview, updating the statuses and so on and so forth. So when you're thinking about AI solutions, they don't always have to be chatbot based. But in this case, I was just using that to demonstrate what you can do, because it's much easier for me to do that way. Okay. So just take a moment again and just think about where in your organization could automating workflows or processing information save significant time. Perhaps even provide or enhance accuracy of information. Think about those manual tasks, the repetitive processes, or areas where human error could easily slip in. How would automating those areas transform the way your team operates? Okay. What we've just seen are a variety of use cases, all powered by the same QBot platform on Microsoft Azure. Whether it's transcribing voice to text, finding answers within complex systems, or comparing CVs to job descriptions, these are all different examples of different solutions, all being solved by one platform using the same underlying technology. These examples also illustrate how we can manage different types of information, whether it's voice, whether it's structured data from a line of business system, or whether it's unstructured data like resumes all within one platform. And what's more is that this single platform can be deployed wherever your end users are. Whether they're working in M365 or they use their own internal tools, or if it's on or whether you need that solution on an external website for customers, the platform is flexible and scalable to fit your needs. And the takeaway here is that we're not dealing with a fragmented approach. What we've demonstrated is a single platform that supports multiple use cases. For instance, you can have one solution tailored for frontline workers like the medical professionals, and a completely different solution for the recruiters, all seamlessly powered by the same platform. Now, as you consider integrating Gen AI into your organization, into your application systems and tools, think about investing in a baseline platform that can create a strong foundation for your use cases. This allows you to expand as needed without having to reinvent the wheel each time. The number of use cases I'm coming across with various different customers at the moment where they're spinning up one chatbot after another is just confusion and creating, and we're confusing the end users even more. So by building on this framework, you'll not only save development time, but also reduce risks and significantly cut costs in the medium to long run. So I've gone through a whole heap of stuff, and I've done that very, very quickly. We've looked at a wide range of use cases, from everyday copilots to fully customized solutions tailored to your specific needs. Let's just talk about how to do this. And we're working with customers at all different stages of their AI journey. So we've got customers who are looking for a quick start, and you want to implement just a few use cases right away, so they can actually reach out to the business, they can reach out to the stakeholders, get something out, get feedback, and then build from there. And so we offer a quick start package to help you hit the ground running with the QBot solutions there. And these use cases can be whatever you want those use cases to be. For others who may not have internal AI expertise or experience in managing AI projects, we provide guidance and support to move your AI discussions forward. And we can assist your AI working groups, offering the expertise you need to make that progress and to drive the discussions, whether it's assisting with strategy, whether it's assisting with facilitation of working group sessions, or whether it's identifying use cases, evaluating use cases, whether it's helping with responsible AI, AI governance. There are a range of services we offer under this offering. And then some organizations are seeking advice on identifying the right use cases, conducting assessments, or they simply need help with rolling out out-of-the-box copilots like the Microsoft 365 Copilot we saw earlier. As you can see, we have a range of services to support you based on where you are in your journey. Now, looking at the time, we've got 15 minutes, so perfect timing. I'm going to start looking at the chat now. If you have any questions, if there is anything that you'd like to discuss, if you have any questions for Emma or myself, please put them in the chat and we'll go through them one by one. I will just move the screen along. So if you do have any questions or if you want to contact me directly outside of this session, please feel free to do so as well. Whilst we're waiting for questions, Emma, I might put you on the spot if you're okay and if you're able to speak. Are you able to share? You work with a lot of public sector customers. Just wondering if you're able to share some case studies, some use cases that other public institutions have been rolling out.
Yeah, happy to. It's been quite varied. Like with the Australian government, like it was interesting, Sulabh, how you were talking about using AI for streamlining process or automation versus sort of chat capability. I often refer to it as chat with your data. The chat with your data use cases have been quite prolific, but with the Australian government, one of the first use cases we saw go into production was actually there was no user interface or chat capability built, and that was a use case involving grants, synthesis and automation. So it's a requirement under legislation for the government to publish who it gives grants to and what the volume of money is and what the purpose and expectations are for that grant. And so that was done manually, and at its best was taking each officer, policy officer, at a minimum of 40 minutes to undertake. And they were able to put a solution in place using ChatGPT-4, which took processing down to 2 minutes. And really what the AI was doing was synthesizing the information, presenting it in a format that they wanted to publish, and then the policy officer just had to review it. So that really improved their job satisfaction. I mean, the productivity gains were enormous, like going down to 2 minutes. There's never like replacing a human in that workflow. It's just augmented the role, sort of elevated the role that the policy officer was playing. They saw an increase, like total consistency in writing standard and zero spelling mistakes once the AI-driven solution was put in place. So the quality was improved. So that's one use case. Many of the others have been sort of like chat to your data, particularly around HR and increasingly with procurement or legal. And sometimes it's just internal advisory capability. And we often encourage our customers to start with an internal use case. And otherwise, I would say, similar to your use cases, that the health sector and the education sector were pretty fast adopters of the technology, particularly universities and schools.
Awesome. Thank you. You just reminded me of, you mentioned legal, and the example I gave around recruiter assistant is very transferable to the legal industry. So we're having lots of discussions with customers in legal where, they have large volumes of documents and information. It's not just documents, there's emails, there's documents, there's information in other systems, etc. But also the information they have to read through and sift through and comprehend is vast. And it takes them days and days to do that. We get requests like, could we have a system that could create a chronology of events? So you could actually throw, multiple pieces of information at it, and the system would then be able to maybe draw a chronology of maybe, if I go maybe look at a medical example, then you can look at, okay, this is when the patient was prescribed a dose. This is when the patient started to take the dose. The patient was prescribed maybe 2 doses a day. They started taking 4 doses a day from this date onwards. And all of this information is in multiple pieces of, like separate pieces of information. They're in emails, they're in notes, handwritten notes, and stuff like that. And the fact that the system can actually, sift through all of that information and provide me a timeline of events, that's incredibly valuable for people in the legal industry. Similarly, creating briefs, again, from a large number of documents in legal is also another use case that I'm finding quite often. So that use case around the recruiter assistant is very transferable to so many different use cases I was explaining before. I've got a couple of questions in the chat, so I might just pause before coming back to you, Emma. Do you have examples of Copilot with Power Automate creation? Do you know when Copilot will be expanded to complete tasks within application? Example, removing watermark from a document, and then it goes and does it. So I'm assuming you're talking about Microsoft 365 Copilot with that question. I've seen the roadmap, and I can't share exactly what the roadmap details are, but what I can say is that copilots in the near future are going to be your copilots. They're not going to be systems or applications that will do a whole bunch of tasks like removing a watermark, etc. Now, you can go and extend the copilots, like I gave you like I demonstrated one example with Air India, where you can actually build things like task modules and things of that nature, which will then go and trigger a Power Automate flow and things of that nature to actually do the tasks for you. And so that's one way you can achieve those things. Can an AI product interrogate one of the software systems your organization is using to collect clinical data into a warehousing scenario where it can be interrogated? 100%. So we're getting commonly now getting a lot of requests from customers where they want us to implement AI solutions that will allow them to interrogate their data warehouses, their their data lakes, their line of business systems, etc. as well, where they can just get access to the information they need whenever they need it, as opposed to maybe sometimes, like again, I said in some of my examples, you don't actually have the reports for some of the data that you're actually wanting to query, or it takes a long time before you can actually get access to the data, or you have to go through various different requests across the various different departments, etc., before you can get access to that. So that example, that question is very, very common, and it's becoming more and more like that's one of the more common use cases we are hearing from customers, especially when we are talking about integrating with their key data points. And where you can also take this is when you start to add machine learning models, etc., into the picture, because then you can create predictive models, you can do advanced analytics, and then you can actually again use tools like a chatbot to using natural language to actually forecast, to get some predictions and make informed decisions, etc. So again, we're seeing that quite a lot. Customers are wanting to take that to the next level and wanting to use the technology available to really democratize the access to the data they have in their systems. How about resolving duplicate contact records in a CRM? That doesn't sound like it's an AI task. It sounds like maybe it's an RPA task. AI can definitely identify or help you identify some of the duplicates and those kinds of things, but doesn't sound like it's a AI task to me. Maybe your use case is a bit more detail. Happy to chat through that use case and understand a bit more. But that use case is pretty. Like we should be able to sift through that data and identify the duplicate contacts for you.
The only thing I would add to those things, Sulabh, is that increasingly I think that we'll see embedded generative AI capability in, for example, CRM systems where they're all called Copilots by Microsoft, which can be confusing, whether you would be able to use natural language to say, can you please find duplicate records, highlight them for me, and then delete. Also with the data warehousing, so Microsoft Fabric, for example, also now has a Copilot. So I think we'll see increasingly more and more products, not just Microsoft products, that have an embedded Gen AI capability. And then there'll always be bespoke use cases, which is where I play more. How can we use AI models to solve bespoke problems?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. And this goes back to one of my earlier slides around every single product, or AI is being infused into every single Microsoft product, and they're all called Copilots. So you have Copilot in Power BI, you have Copilot in Fabric, you have Copilot in Power Platform, and they're all there to help you get the most out of that particular technology. So don't be too confused if you hear the word Copilot being mentioned in across different products, and they mean different things. Emma, I might ask you another question, just as for your advice, really, for those who are keen to deploy their own Azure AI solutions, or just any AI solution for that matter. What's your advice? You mentioned at the beginning, don't get too caught up or bogged down into the theoretical, and get started. Do you have some practical tips on how customers can take their first steps for those who haven't started this journey?
Yeah, I think you need to approach it like at two speeds in a sense. So at an enterprise level, you need to be thinking of how the enterprise wants to adopt AI and how that's aligned, for example, with your data governance framework or your other enterprise roadmaps or strategies. But because ultimately for you to scale and to take concepts into production, you're going to have very sound and robust data governance. For example, you need to know where the data is. So sometimes when we're exploring use cases with customers and they say, oh, can I use an AI for this? Often the answer is yes, but do you know where your data is? And is your data in a condition that it's machine readable? Like, is it ready for the AI? So that's like that broader strategy piece. But the best way to learn, or at least that I find the best way to learn, is to actually start doing something. So you can use publicly available data, for example, like your organization's data, but something that's not sensitive and open to the public, if there's examples of that. So just start with an Azure subscription, put some PDFs into, some storage, and start to build out a capability and test concepts, particularly under responsible AI, of how you can understand what the AI is doing and what you're comfortable with. There's a lot of free training available on Microsoft Learn, for example. So identifying and supporting staff that want to learn more about AI and sort of like building the knowledge base is important. And then I find it's really important to partner with people that are experts in this space. Now, anyone that says they're like a deep expert is probably pulling your leg a little bit. I mean, Gen AI has been around since about November 2022 in terms of the capability you see now, but like AI itself has been around since the 1950s. So, find people you're comfortable to partner with, to work with, choose a use case, and just get started.
Amazing. Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much for that. I wanted to add one more point to what you mentioned. You mentioned an important point around data quality, and there's always going to be use cases where you need to do a lot more work for your data to be ready. And so you need to do some data assessment, you need to do an AI impact assessment and those kinds of things to understand whether that that use case can be implemented straight away, or what is the journey that you need to take into. And you do need experts and who have done this before to be able to guide you through that. And there are other examples, like you mentioned, Emma, like where you're just chatting to a document or chatting to a few documents. And that's where obviously you need to make sure that the quality or the information in the document is accurate and that sort of a thing. But they are relatively quite easy to implement, and you don't have to wait for a whole heap of extra approvals and those kinds of things to go through within your organization to actually get those use cases out. And often those use cases are enough to get the other departments to come along and to start thinking about whether we could do this or whether we could do that, and so on, etc. as well. So great. Cool. I've just realized the time it's exactly midday. So we've been talking for about an hour. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you so much for those who attended the session today. I hope it was useful and you got something out of it. If you do have any questions that you think about maybe after the session, please do feel free to reach out to myself and or through our website, and we'll be here to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much again, Emma, for your participation and for making yourself available. Really appreciate it, and can't thank you enough.
My pleasure.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.